Capitulation. G'day trendsetters. Now we've got the first capitulation by the English Central Bank. They have given in to the inflation fight and are now instantly going from quantitative tightening, from running out the balance sheet, which means not purchasing government bonds, to a complete 180 to back to purchasing government bonds and creating more inflation, even though their inflation is at double digits. Now, why did this happen? I just want to explain exactly what happened here. And we saw this coming like a slow-moving train wreck. And all the other central banks are going to follow. It's just a matter of time. And the US dollar that's through the roof is going to go through the floor. But anyway, what really happens here is when the central bank decides to purchase government bonds, that drives the interest rate lower. It makes it lots of free money in the system. So if the central bank didn't purchase government bonds and the government actually did what it used to do and go to the people and say, we want you to lend us money, interest rates would be 20% in 5 seconds flat. Okay, so what's happened here is the pension funds. So you've been lied to by your government, and you've been told that if you pay your taxes, we'll pay you back later. You know, just like that brother that always borrowed $5 off you, never gave it back to you. So the pension funds, the people that manage the money of the pension funds, the currency, have not been able to get a decent yield on their by buying bonds. So all this currency comes flooding out of people's wages every week into the pension fund, like your superannuation funds. But these pension funds, they're paying the retired pension. The Philippines doesn't have to worry about this. You're on your own, which is how it should be. You save up for your retirement, or you don't make it. But and that makes everyone save for their retirement like they used to back in the old days. So the pension funds have not been able to get enough yield. So normally they just get all that capital, all those billions of dollars, and they invest them in bonds and get a return. So they're looking for a yield. I mean, anyone that's saved up some money is like, oh, what do I do for it now? I'll put it to work. I'll lend it to someone else so they can, open a dress shop or whatever it is. So the pension funds, because the interest rates are so low because of the interference in the market, they've been leveraging. They've got $1 billion, and it's only throwing off 3%, but they need a 6% return to be able to pay their obligations, the amount that they pay everyone every week, to say, thanks for paying all those taxes for all those years. I mean, it's all a Ponzi scheme anyway. But so they've gone out into the market with, grab some cheap money because it's only 0.25% interest. So they've been borrowing another $1 billion to go and buy twice as many bonds to get the yield. So the income's twice as much, and it doesn't matter that much because what they're borrowing, the overnight cash rate is 0.25%, and they're buying bonds that are giving them a 3% yield. So they've been playing a dangerous game of borrowing money to buy bonds to get a yield. The same as if you went out and borrowed $1 billion to buy gold, a gold mining stock or something, and hope to Christ that company stayed afloat. It's risky stuff, really risky stuff, and never should any pension fund or one of these money managers go out and borrow money to buy a bond to give you a yield. It's a falsity. It's cooking the books. So the books now remain cooked in in England and around the world, they're going to be recooked. So because of as soon as the central bank stops buying bonds, the average Joe in the street demands higher interest rates. I mean, we're talking maximum just over 4%. It's not as if they're high, but higher than what they've been. So as soon as the central bank starts to unwind the mess that it made, the foray into this, it never ever should have, because they shouldn't exist for a start. But once you've got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So once you've got a central bank, they have to manipulate something, otherwise they can't justify their existence. A little bit like, your government. So the minute that they try and unwind the bullshit, it starts slapping them in the face. So 2 days ago, we're gonna the message from these central planning, nincompoops, manipulators, destroyers of capital, said we're going to fight inflation no matter what, because it's in double digits now. This is the English central bank. We are committed to fight inflation. And then bang, capitulate, because everyone starts screaming, we're going to have a crisis, we're going to have a crisis. Well, that's actually, what we need on the way to health. We need, after the drunken night out, we need the hangover to get back to good health. And so the economy is trying to get back to good health, but there's no way. And so so I don't know what they're going to say about inflation now, because they've capitulated and reverse course. And, are they going to get away with saying that they've averted a crisis that they caused this time again? Wait till the US central bank is in the same position. Wait till the Australian central bank, the Reserve Bank, is in the same position, the Singapore bank, or the poor example, all of the European central banks, just central planning upon central planning. I mean, the Soviets would have been proud of this mob, So the first one to capitulate is the English central bank, because they're being told, hey, we've got a crisis, and as Peter Schiff said this morning on his podcast, I give him credit for explaining this to us. I lost my train of thought there for a second, guys. Now, these pension funds just could have been honest from the start and said to people years ago, when all the bailouts started in 2008, sorry, we can't pay that much. We just can't. There's no way. So we're going to have to cut your pension. So that because they didn't do that, because they weren't honest, because they kicked the can down the road, covered up the gaping sores in the financial system and carried on, the gaping sore is now a cancer. And they have just covered it up again with a Band-Aid in the hope that it will go away. This will come back. Like now, it's going to come back in hyperinflation. Now, there's a bit of talk about how horrible the tax cuts are. Don't get me wrong, tax cuts are a fantastic thing. The more that you reduce taxes, the better off everyone is. The higher wages are, the more jobs there are, the better the economy works. The smaller amount of tax you pay. Zero is the ultimate. That's the ultimate in prosperity. Anything above that causes a drain, a drag, a lead weight around the neck of the economy. Now, the reason why some people are saying these tax cuts are a negative thing is because they haven't been coincided with a reduce in government spending. So tax cuts are excellent, but you need to cut the government spending first before you cut the taxes. In fact, you should wipe out the government spending altogether and just get the government out of everything, and hold taxes where they are for the next 6 to 12 months or whatever. Pay all the liabilities out and then just reduce taxes to zero. I mean, that's I would either do that or just default on the government bonds. If I was king today, I would say that's it. We're defaulting. No one's getting their money back. You're on your own. There's no more government spending, and there's also no more taxes. And I'll see you in the free market. I'm going to do another podcast about that. So if they had been honest and not tried to cover up the inadequacies of the system, it's not really the money manager's fault that he can't get enough yield to pay the pensions, but he could be honest and say, we can't pay that much. Sorry, you all got ripped off, you all got lied to, because of the economic situation. We can't pay it. But instead, they all ran out and grabbed that cheap lolly, that 0.25% interest rate, and covered it up, kicked it down the road. So what's the result? The result is we're going to get, starting with the English, runaway inflation. And if you think that that's not a pension cut, well, it is anyway. So one day soon, the pension won't buy anything. I don't know what it is. I have no interest in being a pensioner. I'd rather die in a dumpster than become a pensioner. And because it's too dangerous. You've put your destiny in someone else's hands. And those someone else's are all a bunch of crims at the moment. So all this socialism, everyone's going to pull together and pay into this, magic fund that's going to pay out somehow more than what we put in, and all this sort of rubbish is all coming to an end. But yeah, the capitulations happen, so England's going to get runaway inflation. Like I said before, I don't know what they're going to say, as in, well, yeah, we just did a 180. Yesterday we were going to fight inflation at all costs, and when all the costs came due, when someone tapped us on the shoulder and said, look what's coming, bang, 180, let's go back to inflation, thanks. And yeah, don't go poking fun at South American banana republics any longer, because the whole world is one. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who capitulates next and what these idiots are going to say about their capitulation, how they're going to cover it up, what they're going to lie about. But the inflation is going to be the same result for the average guy on the street. So if he gets, I don't know, £200 a week, and that used to buy 5 bags of groceries, it's only going to buy 1 soon. And then nothing, box of matches. That's what's going to happen. So, bring those mortgage rates down while the cost of everything goes through the absolute roof. So you've got nice low mortgage payments, but you can't afford a jar of coffee. That's what's going to happen. So just thought I'd throw that one out to you. Things are happening so fast, and yeah, just found myself in a motel room in a caravan park in Georgetown, because I'm going to call an auction 2 auctions this morning, and but that's another subject. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the next one.